Alright. About to jump into it real quick. Back on the Xbox. Holy shit, look at that ping. 700. Fucking, yeah, fuck that. Just watched a lot of Doom Patrol death. How'd you like it? They did another Dark Phoenix trailer? Thought they did the final one like a couple of weeks ago. Alright, that's a much better ping. Oh shit, I'm about to check that out. I'm still surprised they haven't released New Mutants yet. I think at this point they likely won't. That movie's been done for what, like 3 years? It's gone through what seems to be like half a dozen reshoots, changing the tone of it from horror to superhero-y, back to somewhat of a hybrid of the two, then back to horror. Like, I don't think that's going to really turn out to be any good.
Why don't you go ahead and lay in your room where it's dark and quiet? I know. It's fine. You can take your medicines tomorrow. If your head isn't feeling good in another hour, I'm going to give you another one of your little pills to take, okay? Okay, go to your
Yeah, Doom Patrol is very good with how they do things. Like, I do enjoy how they crafted their entire story. So I'm going to be interested to see if they carry that over into Swamp Thing and everything else. Oh. Oh, wow, really? Huh. Fucking tried to block me all. Yeah, I would love to see them to do the Marvel Zombie storyline. I mean, most powerful Doom Patrol member. I would think if she could get her shit together, Elasta Woman. Because, I mean, right now we haven't seen her actually be hurt. My favorite superhero team would honestly be the Justice League. Just because of pretty much how they're sort of set up is like a pretty much like a group of gods themselves. Well, Dream Teams combined. Shit. Basically, between two heroes teamed up. So I would probably... The hell would I want teamed up together? Because I mean, I would kind of want something like Wolverine and Batman together. Just because I feel like they complement each other. Oh, Negative Man? I like Negative Man too. His only thing is, I believe that he's vulnerable if the negative spirit leaves his body. Which can ultimately be what. Oh shit. That shit is so off-putting. Wait, is he actually coming? Oh shit, he is coming. Oh, fuck, yeah. It's fucking Legion, so I forgot about Discordance. Oh, I guess he found me. Oh, no, Ed. Fuck. Couldn't get that lucky. Fuck if I'm chancing that. Negative Man, the negative spirit can essentially fight, can disrupt electronics, and pretty much do a bunch of other shit. His power set is pretty extensive. Like, it all depends on the iteration of Negative Man as far as like what he can do. But normally it's always the same repercussions. If the negative spirit leaves his body, then he collapses, leaving his physical body in peril.
Tier 1 anti-medicine, you're chewable.
Do I think we'll ever get a Cap and Black Panther movie team up? I would imagine at some point they would do something like that.
Them too. They said just one's chewable and the other one you swallow. Your chewable one, baby. Your sweet one. One in the purple and white. Turn the pepper. Okay, let me see that one. Yeah, let me see those ones. Yeah, let me see them real quick. So I can see which ones you have to take for them. For sure. Okay, yeah. Because one.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good pick to go along with Jeremy Irons.
For your head, for the preventing of headaches. I was wondering what it was for. But yeah,
Could introduce AIM 2. That's not a bad idea.
And it's for to prevent headaches.
Hey, Paris, what's going on? I haven't checked to see if I got any pictures yet. But I'll definitely check it out pretty much once I get off here. Like, I think favorite power set for Doom Patrol, aside from Crazy Jane, would be Elasti-Woman. But overall, favorite character on the show is Robot Man. Like, I don't know if it's just Brendan Fraser playing him, but fucking his whole story arc is something I absolutely love.
How about the Menchie's dick? Did you eat, Connor? Did you eat all your food? Pizza? You fool. You made it up pizza.
Yeah, because I mean, the strongest characters of Doom Patrol has to be between Crazy Jane, Robot Man, and Cyborg is now getting up there too. Like, all of their character arcs have been really well done. Even all the characters' story arcs have been well done. But pretty much the ones that were more stand out to me were those three: Robot Man, Cyborg, and Crazy Jane. But I mean, the entire show is extremely well done. Do I think Daredevil will get a movie? Probably not. And if he does, I don't think it's going to end up being Charlie Cox. I think everything that we've probably seen on Netflix from this point is likely going to be thrown in the trash and restarted. As unfortunate as that is. What the fuck? Nice. Fuck, fuck, fuck! I wanted to get to the pallet. I mean, I would love for him to keep Charlie Cox, but with how the contracts and everything are, I just don't see them actually doing it. Like, even having John Bernthal, like, keeping him as Punisher. You got, what's her name, as Jessica Jones. Like, all the Netflix Marvel characters I would love for them to keep. If Batman was given a super soldier serum, I think he would be far more dangerous than Captain America. Oh, is he coming for me? Yeah, he's coming for me. Well, if he's gonna come for me, I'm gonna lead him far fucking away as I can. Freddy versus Ash. It's not going much in Ash's favor. Like, honestly, if they can't get Wesley Snipes to come back and play Blade, I would probably go with shit, what the hell is his name? Plays Bronze Tiger on Arrow, and he played as Spawn in the original movie. Because that was originally my pick to oh my god, man. Why do you have a hard on for me, Freddy? I don't know what it is. It's just like awkward with him. But he pretty much tunneled the hell out of me. So like pretty much I gave them more than enough time to get done every gen. Michael Jai White, that's what his name is. Yeah, come to think of it, he could play a pretty mean Black Panther. But I could see him really as Blade. Just because of the deepness in his voice matches that of Wesley Snipes. So I could really see him capturing that version of Blade again. And he's a martial artist, I believe. So that definitely helps with the action scenes. So you're essentially getting, I think, a bigger version of Blade, which isn't bad. And he looks younger. I don't know how old he is. I'd imagine probably in his 40s, maybe 50s by now. I mean, I wouldn't mind Wesley Snipes coming back. I mean, his story, especially if they keep the Blade movies as canon, I wouldn't mind it. Like, I think the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes movie was doomed from the beginning of Tim Burton getting hired for that film. Like, as interesting as his Superman concept sounded from the documentary John Schnepp did a while back, it's not something I would have wanted to see in the theaters. I mean, under the Marvel umbrella with Blade, having Wesley Snipes come back and keeping those movies canon, there's so much shit that you can do. The thing is, would you pretty much... I think I would probably keep only the first two movies canon. I would honestly disregard Blade Trinity. I mean, I liked it. It was entertaining. I loved Ryan Reynolds in it. Pretty much the way they had the whole Dracula character. A lot of the characters were fine. But I think from a continuity standpoint, you would kind of want to hold Dracula for something else. Down the road, at least. And have him mean something more to the MCU than maybe... Then rather throw him away for a movie. Like, Dracula should have been something that was throughout the centuries and popping up here and there. And now with the X-Men coming, you could have had it where there were storylines between him and Apocalypse throughout the centuries. I think if Ghostface was a supernatural killer, he would probably keep more towards his namesake. Like haunting people, like through, like a ghost. Possibly using phones and stuff like that. To communicate with his victims that he's haunting. You didn't like John Bernthal? I mean, I liked him. I thought John Bernthal was a pretty good Punisher. He was definitely brutal as hell. Yeah, I mean that was really my only problem with Blade Trinity. Like having Drake on there, knowing that he's supposed to be Dracula and he's this big, powerful vampire, and pretty much it kind of was underwhelming with how they used him. But yeah, having the villain Nomak from the last movie, part two, like having him come back would have been something, or even one of his offspring having that survived and evolved and becoming its own thing. Maybe trying to become a legitimate vampire house. And then like the third movie, I mean, even if you didn't go back with fucking Nomak, like you could have had it where the vampires, now knowing that Deacon Frost was able to become the blood god, somehow were able to use his blood for him to come back. Because I mean, that's kind of ridiculous that you become a god, but a chemical makes you explode and you can't reform yourself when you've already shown that you can reform limbs and everything else. There should have been more to Deacon Frost's story after that. But like you said, they could bring Deacon in for another movie, and that's what brings Blade into maybe a appearance with someone from the Avengers or even Spider-Man. Deacon Frost comes back, still maybe weakened, but still holding some of the powers from the Blood God, and he goes to New York to try to hunt Deacon Frost down again. Morbius could be there, and it just so happens Spider-Man and Morbius are in conflict, and Blade shows up for that, kind of like the cartoons. And then like Blade pretty much attacks Spider-Man. They team up. They go to find Morbius and realize everything that Morbius has been charged with, or pretty much everything that they accused Morbius of doing, was actually Deacon Frost, and all three of them team up against Deacon Frost, who by the end of the movie should reconstitute his powers as Lamagra. And then pretty much you end the movie possibly with Deacon Frost either being depowered or Morbius taking the blood god powers away from Deacon Frost and putting them into himself. Like having it where it's some kind of way, because Morbius is the living vampire, that the blood god aspect of things will be quelled under him. Oh, so Michael Jai White's not much younger than Wesley Snipes, but for some reason he looks a shit ton younger than him. I don't know if Michael Jai White just kept better shape, was a lot more healthier. Oh, so we're going against another Freddy. Like, I want to see if Venom is actually going to be coming into the fray at some point. For, oh, wow, really? He paid his taxes. Well, that might do it. Keep you looking nice and young. Just said you just watched Victor Crowley death. How'd you like it? I felt like it ended too soon. Like we were supposed to get a little bit more movie with it. Wake me up, woman! Or wake me up! Do you not know how to wake me up? So all that time you could have woke me up and you decided, fuck it, you're not going to. What the fuck are you doing? Goodbye, taint hairs isn't even the word, Pears. That was a clusterfuck from the beginning. Yeah, that's pretty much the same character from Hatchet. Yeah, Freddy definitely mowed the lawn on that one. Have we ever gotten an alien invasion film on the level of the typical zombie apocalypse movies? Oh, sorry. I don't think so. Aside from maybe something like Independence Day, but it wasn't like full-blown apocalypse. I mean, Invasion of the Body Snatchers maybe, but still not apocalypse-wise.
What about like Intercell or The Thing?
What?
What about The Thing?
It's not apocalypse.
Oh, I thought like, never mind, I misheard what you were saying.
Pretty much mostly due to Victor Crowley's power set. He can't exactly be killed by conventional means. I think the way he actually dies in Hatchet 3 is basically being reunited with his father. They use his father's ashes and it melts him, from what I remember. Melts him or turns him to ash too. Overall, him and his father are reunited and he's finally able to die and rest in peace. Victor Crowley, since you've seen it, you would already know, they use a voodoo incantation that brings Victor Crowley back. Now the thing is pretty much, unless you have his father's ashes presumably again, there's no way to kill Victor Crowley. Now it's likely he can't leave the swamp, but you still can't kill him no matter what you do to him. You can cut off his head, arms, rip out his heart, chop him into a million pieces, but he just respawns. That's why I said a while back, if you put Victor Crowley against Jason, Jason is stronger, I believe, but Victor Crowley would outlast him. Where Jason's injuries don't exactly heal back in that kind of way. Oh, it's a different Asian guy. Yeah, if I remember right, that's supposed to be like his brother or cousin or something like that.
Pretty sure it's his cousin.
To be honest, Ty, World War Z was kind of a disappointment to me. I mean, good movie. If you'd have put a different name on it, I probably would have enjoyed it a whole lot more. But because I'm such a big fan of the World War Z book, that what they did to it movie wise was I can't even put a name to it. That was not World War Z. Like, World War Z should honestly have been maybe an HBO series and not a movie. With all the content that they have on there. Like, it could have been maybe 2-3 seasons like Game of Thrones or something like that. Like a Game of Thrones style kind of show. Like, going from viewpoint to viewpoint. Well, we know it's a trapper. Yeah, it kind of makes no sense going from movie to movie. For, like, the Asian guys, like, the actor or the character to look exactly the same as his dead relative. But I think that's mostly due to the Victor Crowley movies were never meant to be taken that seriously to begin with. Which Hatchet 1 should have probably have taught you that. Where you got the one guy jumping up a tree in like 2 seconds. Yeah, I actually like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I felt like they could have probably did more with it. But for what it was, I mean, I never read the comics, so I probably couldn't tell you if it was accurate or not. but as a old school horror fan, I actually really like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Although from what I heard, they are doing the reboot for Hellraiser with David Goyer coming back too. I think they said right. Which I'm actually really excited for. I know a lot of people don't like David Goyer for Man of Steel and all that stuff. But for every misstep that he's ever had, he's had like quite a few successes. And it seems that he really excels at the dark stuff. Alright, let me actually... I mean, I liked Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll. I think he made a really good Dr. Jekyll. Mr. Hyde. But I think the movie really missed out on the opportunity to be a horror movie. And that's where the problem with the movie came from. The trailer for that remake made you think that it was going to be a horror movie. Going around just disarming traps. Run! Telling you, Paris, that's gonna start ending up being my war call. Penis! I'm committing. I'm committing. I committed! Oh god! He doesn't have no head! Oh my god, you're just now getting to the door. Penis! The fuck out of here! It's all good. I just need to be saved one more time. Go! Run! Alright, let's go get this shit. Save! Make the save, people! Alright, I think we all got out. Yeah, I think Guardians of the Galaxy 3, if it's going to introduce anything, it'll likely be Adam Warlock. I mean, although we've been getting the Nova Corps for this many years now, we haven't gotten Nova yet. Which seems very weird. But they may save that maybe for a different movie down the road. Possibly maybe Captain Marvel too. Since for some reason I feel like that just feels right. I think I can agree with that. Christian Bale being the best John Connor that we've had so far. Which I think that movie gets a bad rep for no reason. Terminator Salvation. I thought that was actually a really good Terminator movie. Hopefully this next one blows all that out of the water, since now they're using the Blumhouse formula and erasing everything after Judgment Day, and this is now the new Terminator 3. We're still waiting for a game. Let me go ahead and upgrade Jane. A save error? What? What is this about a save error now? Yeah, I'm definitely hoping Arnold comes back and is a villain. As much as I like him in Terminator 2 being the good guy Terminator, I think now it's been overkill. It's time to bring Arnold back as the villain. T800 versus J6. Probably the T800. If I'm being completely honest and not biased, I would probably have to go with the T800. Because I think he likely would be able to run probably some kind of scan on Jason to know that he would likely have to decapitate him. I mean, I guess it would kind of depend on what kind of aliens you're going against. I mean, if it's xenomorphs, you're screwed no matter what. Which technically, that could be your apocalypse-style alien movie, although it was very secluded, is Aliens. Look what they were able to do to the colonists on the fucking one planet. Now, Uber Jason, pretty much, that would be probably an advantage to Uber Jason versus the T800. I'd probably go with Jason on that one. What's going on, Lady Vay? Any new killers on Dead by Daylight? Not since the Plague. Which I don't know if you played with her yet. Where she could throw up on you and spread her sickness. And if you cure yourself in one of the fountains, she can then take back in the sickness and turn it into a projectile hit. I don't know. I like the darkness of Requiem. Like, I thought that movie was much better than the first Alien vs. Predator. Even the Predator design was really good. A Lovecraft level aliens coming to a destroy. That sounds super interesting. Now you throw like Lovecraft levels around like that, then that's a crazy level of things. Which I wonder, did they ever say if anybody's been searching around? I know pretty much I'm probably like the only one that, not the only one. I can't be the only one that's been checking Dead by Daylight's Twitter to see when Ghostface will probably be coming. I would imagine he's gonna hit the PTB shortly. Maybe. Which makes me extremely glad I got the game on PC. Oh shit, I forgot I had a med kit on me. Come on, get your ass over here. Hopefully we don't get found in like the first couple seconds. Well, I know, it's wishful thinking. Oh, you got the perk. Did she see me? Oh, she saw me! So you're smarter than you look. Hi. This is going on your Yelp review. Your bedside manner is horrible. I mean, you never know. It goes, I mean, granted, yeah, Peter's nowhere near as intelligent in the MCU as he is in the comics. But they may end up bringing Reed Richards in just to replace Tony Stark. Don't. Run. She wants me all to herself. It's the puppet. Bitches love the puppet. We run and heal real quick. No, I'm not in any Xbox Dead by Daylight groups, lady. And most of the groups I play with seemingly do the same thing. If not just all-out disconnect. Especially on PC, I realize. Once you get to the PTB, it seems like all they do is fucking disconnect. Like I said, like, you guys ever want to hook up and play a game or two? I'm always down for it. Just shoot me a message and I'll be there. If I'm not at work. Oh yeah, I think Tony's gonna come back at some point. Even if he doesn't come back in a physical form, I think he'll be back as the new Jarvis. And then, like you said, there's always the multiverse. I did a generator. I'm not useless. I don't just hang on hooks. Now I'm gonna go save people. Oh, never mind. Someone stole my thunder. Oh. Well, that was short-lived. Don't worry, I'm committing. Alright, stay. Or not. Your choice. Alright, I'm gonna try to use the flashlight. Oh shit, never mind! She's wise to my plans! Well, I think it's no doubt you're gonna get Venom and Tom Holland together. At one point or another. Whether it's Tom Hardy's Venom or a different Venom. What's Mr. Nobody's deal? That's been the, pretty much the plot of the whole show. Like, nobody knows. Like, he's not exactly the same from what I've read and seen in the comics. Oh, who is this? That must have been from the one Freddy game where I wasn't being woken up. Alright, I guess inside we go. No, there's no point to put Peter and Short together. Like, Peter has his own relationships that he needs to get to and that the MCU needs to establish before they start branching off on completely original ones. We don't need to see any kind of original relationships until we get either a Mary Jane Watson or fucking even Felicia Hardy. Oh shit. Gotta go! Is this where the door is? Oh shit, there's the door. Oh damn, they're dead. Come get your points, people. Hey, what's going on, Jacob Clark? How you doing? I thought they had nurses calling. Alright, let me see something real quick. Oh, thank you, Jacob. Oh, shit. You jump back on there. Not sure what the fuck happened with that. Oh, definitely. I would love to see an X-Force film. Hopefully, whoever they get to do the future X-Men live action anything, they get the people who did, fucking, shit, the TV show. What the fuck was that called? What was that called again? The X-Men TV show. Like, I'm drawing a blank on.
I know, right? And it's like, it's so simple, too. this. Like, really?
It'll come to me. I'll think about it later. But yeah, the X-Men TV show that just got canceled not too long ago on Fox. They should end up getting the people that did that to do the movies from now on. I mean, that would work pretty good, Ty. Like, pretty much mixing an Alien and George Romero style world together. The only thing is, like, the thing with the George Romero style world, the only way that kind of works is if you sort of use the aliens from the thing. Or something similar to that nature. Just because of it being able to spread and multiply. Like, if it's just aliens coming down to Earth, you're not going to get the same feeling. Yeah, Jacob, I was like, when I was watching the movie again and I was just seeing, like, his friend hold the mask at the beginning, and I'm just thinking, like, how the fuck did he get the mask? And that's what ultimately spawned that theory. With it being Roy Burns' mask. Because I just don't see him having that mask all of that time on his possession, likely with him going in and out of being checked as a kid from place to place. That mask ultimately being evidence, since everyone would have known that Jason at that point was a hockey mask killer. They'd have likely made a big deal about it, and that mask should be likely in a storage locker somewhere. Where the Roy Burns thing, they didn't necessarily know he was using a hockey mask. They know he was wearing the hood, but they never made mention of him being caught with a hockey mask. They just know that he was using the Jason story to try to cover his tracks. And just having the deformed hood that he had that was reminiscent of Jason's head and the machete was probably enough for them to come to that conclusion themselves. If not, it was spelled out in the newspaper clippings. Yes, that's it, Ghost. The Gifted. That's what I'm talking about. And definitely, I would keep both McAvoy and Fassbender as Charles and Magneto. The only thing I would do is I would begin changing Fassbender's hair to gray, giving us the sort of not even like old gray like Ian McKellen has, more along the lines of how they have Daenerys Targaryen's hair on Game of Thrones. That's how I would do it. Maybe even have them grow it out a little bit to give us that 1990s Magneto look. And finally giving us maybe some of the effects of his eyes lighting up. Thanks, Jacob. I mean, I've watched these movies so much that pretty much I begin dissecting details. Like, even the most minute ones. Like, I begin dissecting. And where most people will, well, it's a plot hole or continuity error from movie to movie, which I get from a production standpoint, but as a fan, I want to try to make sense of it and how logically it could have just gone by without being explained. Oh, I'm definitely gonna be praying for you, Paris. Anything that helps you pretty much get whatever you need, I'll be there for. If you need me to vote on something, just shoot me a link and I'm there. Like, I'm not asking for Fassbender to be in a full-on muscle suit that matches Magneto's from the comics. Honestly, my favorite Magneto suit with its subtleties is the one from X-Men Evolution. Like, I think they could have adapted that into the movies and it would have been fine. I mean, that could work too. The whole spore idea, that could work. It's definitely inspiring to hear myself, Jacob. Anything that gets fans into the lore of Friday the 13th even more just by watching my videos is definitely inspiring to make more. You know what? Been seeing Ash in that shirt for too long now. Time for him to cut loose a little bit. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, I hope Disney took a look at Logan and realized what they could do with an R-rated Wolverine movie, that they actually give us another one at some point. But I highly doubt it because Wolverine is very much like Batman for Marvel. He's a cash cow. And they're going to water him down enough to sell as much merchandise on his back as they can. Like, there's no it's like watching a Ninja Turtles movie where they're not killing people. Where in the comics, the Ninja Turtles actually kill people quite frequently. There's no reason you give Leonardo two swords and he doesn't have any kind of a body count. There's no way you give Raphael two size and he doesn't have any kind of a body count. And that goes with Wolverine. Wolverine has unbreakable claws that now burn with his new power in the comics. And there's no way he's not going to have any kind of gruesome body count. Like, his entire mutant power is like a feral rage with unbreakable claws. There's no way he doesn't get into a conflict that's not bloody. Did I like Endgame? Yes. I liked Endgame very much. That was definitely a good weekend. First ended up watching Endgame and then ended up watching Game of Thrones, which I believe that episode that week was The Long Night. So there was a lot of fighting going on that day. Well, I wouldn't doubt all of them have killed. But I just think it's visually impossible for four teenage mutant turtles that are supposed to have teenager personalities be armed with sharp-edged weapons, trained to be ninjas, fighting against an army of humans, and not have any kind of body count. That was the only thing against the original Ninja Turtles movie that I had. That there was no way that all of the foot soldiers made it out alive. And I believe in the comics, Shredder actually gets beheaded by Leonardo. I played The Thing once. I never played Cold Fear, though. I mean, The Thing is a great fucking movie. Like, I know the prequel that they did gets a lot of shit, but fuck it, I watch those movies with the prequel first and then going into John Carpenter's movie. And it's a great story to me. Having both of those together. Oh, no! Fucking Michael Myers. Don't go that way! Some fucking craziness over there. I wonder if that was Hextro and that I was at. Which means he's going to be guarding the fuck out of that totem. Well, we do know there should be 2 lit totems somewhere. Alright, he's been saved. Alright, he's chasing someone. Don't let him come this way. Fuck! God damn it, Michael! Run! Run, bitch, run! Alright, come follow me this way. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, man, my chest. It hurts. Nice. Oh yeah, like pretty much I ended up not seeing it until that Sunday. So trying to avoid any kind of spoilers that happen was almost impossible. But it was nice to have Endgame and Game of Thrones. Pretty much together. Oh, am I gonna die? I don't hear any breathing. Getting the fuck out of here. Alright, all hexes are broken. I mean... Oh, fuck. I think it may just be the fan in me. But, like... I've enjoyed this season of Game of Thrones. Quite a lot. I don't know if it's the fan in me on top of not having it for 2 years is contributing to that. But I've enjoyed it. I know a lot of people have hated it, or like you said, you've had mixed feelings. I'm out! No! I fell down and went boom. You can't get me through the pillars! I was on base! The only thing about Game of Thrones this season, which I just found out today, I've heard stuff about it, but I've found out for it to be true, was that the showrunners had the option to give us 10 episodes this season for the final season and chose not to. They apparently felt like they could do the show in 6 episodes. Oh, that's bullshit. That's even more bullshit. I teleported all the way the fuck to the side. Batman versus Mr. Terrific. I would probably go with Batman because I feel like he's more of a tactical genius than Mr. Terrific is. Mr. Terrific is supposed to be, what, one of the top 3 smartest people in the world? but Batman is a brilliant tactician. Yeah, I hope the finale is really good too. But I have a feeling the finale is going to serve more as a possible setup for one of the spin-offs. Which I'm perfectly fine with because I mean, we're going to be getting more Game of Thrones one way or another. Which I'm all too excited for. Whether it turns out to be the long night or even as George R. R. Martin was saying, he was telling everyone to pick up a copy of Fire and Blood because that's likely going to be one of the spin-offs that they do, which I have my copy. Which I haven't started reading yet. And that's a big-ass phone book of a book. But I mean, for what we've gotten so far, the long night was very effective for that episode. I mean, a lot of people didn't like that the Night King was taken out in one episode. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, we waited all that time for Ramsay Bolton to fight. He was taken out in like one episode. Hard Home was pretty much all one episode. Like, all the major battles have seemingly been just one episode. And this one was actually almost an hour and a half long, so it made sense that it would end in one episode. Like, it's not exactly meant to be drawn out. Now, from what we know of the lore between the last long night was supposed to last, like, I think they said years. And this one was only one night. Like, that was the only thing that was kind of disappointing, but you knew that the fight couldn't last very long because you only got 6 episodes to work with, and Cersei is the end game. Now, Daenerys becoming the villain, that's something that was hinted at that I didn't think they were going to pull the trigger on. But now it kind of makes sense because Jon, I don't think, is going to end up on the throne. Like, if I'm going to go Game of Thrones dark theories, which isn't going to be that outlandish, I think Jon will end up killing Daenerys, or even Arya will end up killing Daenerys. And he still isn't going to take the throne. And I don't think the Night King is actually dead. I think when Arya stabbed the Night King, he might have like a respawn point back where he was created, which is why that symbol kept popping up over the last couple of seasons. He's going to end up eventually coming back and trying to bring back his White Walker army and all the whites and everything, and it's going to cause Jon to reconstruct the wall and become Lord Commander of the Night's Watch again, waiting for the Night King to come back. And with that, he will strip himself of the title of heir to the Iron Throne. Now, who they get to be king at that point, I know a lot of the leaked things have come out to possibly be Bran. Bran becomes king, so that way I would think the only reason he would become king as the three-eyed raven is so that he can alert... He's like the first one that would know if the Night King breached the wall at all. So that way he can unite the Seven Kingdoms to fight against the Night King. Personally, I have a feeling it might actually be Bronn. Bronn is either going to end up being somehow king, or Gendry, since he would have a legitimate claim to the throne if Jon doesn't want it and Daenerys is dead, with him now being legitimized as a Baratheon. Well, I hope we see X-23 at some point. Whew. Yeah, I don't get why people would want Bran to do anything. I mean, from the point in time he was crippled, what has he done in a physical altercation? I mean, he's warged into like birds and fucking wolves and shit. But I mean, against the Night King, what is that going to do? Especially knowing that the Night King can overpower his warging. Like, it made no sense for people to be entirely upset for Bran for not doing anything. I mean, what the hell is he going to do? Run him over? Like, it made no sense. Like, he's literally the living embodiment of knowledge. Unless he can take those thoughts out of his head and throw them at people, like, it doesn't... There's not much you can expect him to do. Yeah, she was definitely ferocious as shit in Logan. Cutting off heads, like... Oh shit, what the fuck was that? Like, I would like to see a lot more. If they never bring Hugh Jackman back, and they somehow fuse the X-Men world with the MCU, I would want her to be back. Not even as X-23, just make her Wolverine. What the fuck are you doing? And it's Michael Myers. Well, at least we don't have any hex ruin. Nope, I'm committing. I'm committing. I got it. I was dedicated to the cause. Yeah, I was more intimidated of her than the clone, too. Just the scene alone where she cut off the guy's head and went after the Ravagers. I know in the deleted scene they said something about Sabretooth, but did they ever say what actually happened to Sabretooth on there? Because I know he said something about Sabretooth, but I couldn't remember if it was he died or something to that extent. See, Jacob, I haven't read the actual Game of Thrones books yet, because something like that I don't want to commit myself to, knowing that the story's incomplete, and it's no telling when those other two books are going to come out. But I did get Fire and Blood, just because that's stuff that's happened in the past already, and pretty much it's more reading up on the lore of the past before Game of Thrones. So I'm not necessarily having to wait for more shit to come out for me to finish the book and be satisfied. I think once Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring come out, then I'll probably get the whole set and read them. See, that's crazy, because I know the X-Men died in the Manchester incident, but I wasn't sure if it was all mutants, because I would have thought that even if Charles had an aneurysm, that his reach wouldn't be that far without Cerebro. I mean, wasn't that the whole point of X-Men 2? Like, I would have thought that the Manchester incident probably killed both mutants and humans together, and they took that as a as something to really get the, I guess you could say, like, from the Gifted Sentinel services to actually go out and start hunting down mutants. If not, humans might have started lynching mutants, and it led to, over the decades, over the time frame between that happening and Logan, the events of that movie, that all the mutants either likely went into hiding, or at least the ones that were left, and a good portion of them have died. Yeah, Jacob, I've been doing that too. Like, a lot of the YouTube videos that they have, like YouTube channels for Game of Thrones lore, I've been watching the hell out of. which is where I get a good portion of my knowledge from. But I don't know, it was like something as soon as George R. R. Martin said something about getting Fire and Blood in relation to the spinoff, I didn't hesitate. I bought one off Amazon for like $19. But I mean, the X-Men universe is supposed to be depressing, though. Because, I mean, you're talking about a team that's combating racism when it's thrown in their face multiple times. They're protecting the humans that hate them and are racist against them. So, I mean, it is supposed to be a depressing story. It's not supposed to be exactly happy-go-lucky. Which is why I think The Gifted captured that essence so well. A lot of the racism that the mutants faced. Which I actually think it's going to be very interesting to see what George R. R. Martin does with Game of Thrones when he brings out the two books and exactly how they differ from the TV show. Because I'm expecting some very great differences. Because from what I remember, Stannis Baratheon is still supposed to be alive in the books. When we know after his battle with Ramsay, he's like he gets killed by Brienne Tarth. But apparently that never happens in the books unless something was changed. I wonder if one of the multiverses we might actually get that. Because I'm expecting Marvel to give us a Crisis of Infinite Earths events that's going to reset the Marvel timeline in some kind of way to flatten all these universes together. Because, I mean, the only real thing that Marvel has to worry about losing is Spider-Man. Like, that's the only property that's been leased back to them that they don't outright own. Yeah, I've heard a lot about the Duncan Egg stories from George R. R. Martin, too. Like, I think he even said after he's finished with Game of Thrones, he wants to do several more stories for Duncan Egg. Which I'm actually surprised that's not, at least from what I've heard of what the spin-off ideas are, that hasn't been discussed. At least once. Let's see if he has overcharge. Yep. Fucking overcharge. See, my only thing is I hope Marvel doesn't get too cocky and feel like they don't need Spider-Man anymore now that they got the X-Men and the Fantastic Four back. What the fuck? Oh, that was a mean teleported lunge. Like, honestly, because we don't know much about it, I wouldn't mind the whole Long Night story. Just because I want to see everything that they have to show about the 13th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. Oh, fuck! My favorite Game of Thrones character. I mean, honestly, I love all the characters. I couldn't pick an actual favorite. The most I normally judge off anything is ultimately the storyline. There's certain story points, but if I would probably say favorite character-wise would have been the Night King. Like, I would have liked to have seen more of him. But I found myself mostly wanting to see more of his story. Other than that, probably between Jon Snow and Tormund. I think somebody's got nurses calling. What? I mean, was the disconnect really necessary, though? Fucking shit. Oh, wow, okay. He did the animation and everything. I can see Ned Stark and Jorah. I think, honestly, I would have loved to have seen more of Khal Drogo. Just because of the reputation that they set up for him. Seems like it would have been an awesome fight to have him come with Daenerys over the Narrow Sea. But I guess his death was necessary to shape Daenerys' character the way it's been, or has gone. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to hop off here, probably watch a little bit of TV, and start working my way to bed. But I will be on again tomorrow night after I get off work. Probably be around the same time as the night. Let me read that back. Yeah, honestly, like, instead of, if I could replace the Hound going against the Mountain, I would have loved to have seen Khal Drogo go against the Mountain before he was zombified. That would have been interesting to see. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. And pretty much I'm going to possibly start thinking up my next theory video. Probably watch a couple of horror movies, especially some of the newer ones. Make my way to Pet Sematary at some point. And we'll go from there. But until then, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright, bye.